This is the story of a poor seamstress who was supporting her family through hard work. She ran a small tailoring shop, and her stitching was praised throughout the neighborhood. Her work was so fine that even the wife of the village's richest landlord would get her clothes stitched by her. One day, she noticed that the clothes she had stitched were ready. But the landlord's wife hadn't sent anyone to collect them. At home, her father was very ill, and she needed to buy his medicines. So, she took the clothes herself and went to the mansion. There, she saw that the lady of the house had not yet arrived. She waited for an hour, and finally, the landlord's wife descended the stairs. She was wearing a bright red sari and a heavy choker necklace gleamed on her neck. She walked with grace and arrogance, looked sideways and said in a taunting tone, "You've taken a long time to finish the saris this time." The seamstress, nervous, quickly responded, "Madam, I finished the stitching 2 days ago. I thought your maid would come to collect them, but when she didn't, I brought them myself." The lady pressed her lips in anger and muttered, "Let that Sakina girl come, I'll ask her." Then she began examining the clothes one by one. After a while, her frown softened, and she said in praise, "The stitching is excellent. I'll try 'em on to see if they fit well." The seamstress breathed a sigh of relief, thinking she would now be paid for her hard work. But just then, a commotion arose in one corner of the mansion. It seemed something serious had happened. All the servants ran toward the noise, some with sticks, others with clubs. The lady too stood up in concern and asked the guard what had happened. The guard, in a shaken voice, said, "Madam, the gardener just saw a large shape-shifting serpent in the lawn. It was coiled around a tree. Thankfully, the gardener noticed it in time. We'll catch it soon." Hearing this, everyone in the mansion gathered together. The seamstress said, "I'll send the money through Sakina. I'll be getting more clothes stitched from you." Her hopes were shattered. Disappointed, she left the mansion and went to borrow money from her neighbor, Aunt Ruqayya. But the aunt looked at her with disdain and said nothing. She promised to return the money soon, bought medicine for her father, and some vegetables. Her father lay on the cot, and her younger brother Suhail had returned from tuition. The three of them were each other's only support. Their mother had passed away long ago. A shadow of sorrow fell. Her father quietly said, "One day, he had to return. How long could he have stayed away without revenge?" The seamstress was shocked. "Abba, what are you saying?" He sighed deeply and said, "If they've harmed him, he will return. He is a shape-shifter." As evening fell, the weather suddenly turned. Strong winds and red dust storms shook the mud walls of their house. Nafisa got scared and quickly called Suhail inside and moved her father's cot into the room. Night had fallen. A knock at the door startled her. "Please, just shelter for one night." Nafisa knew their house had always been a place for travelers. But letting in a stranger at this hour didn't feel right. Yet when she opened the door and saw the young man standing there, her breath caught. His deep green eyes. "How did you get hurt so badly?" she asked. "They beat me. Didn't leave any part untouched. But I won't spare them either," he replied with a strange dread in his voice. Nafisa opened the door and let him in. He sat near the pillar. His hands were injured, so Nafisa took out a scarf and bandaged them herself. Her heart was pounding. She had never been this close to a strange man before. He sat quietly. Such a handsome man. Who could he be visiting in this village? His eyes didn't seem human. "I'm sorry to trouble you at midnight like this. But what else could I do? I barely escaped with my life. Please let me stay here and don't tell anyone about me." Without thinking, Nafisa replied, You can stay as long as you want. No one comes or goes from our house anyway. He looked at her with longing eyes, then lay down on the floor, perhaps from exhaustion. Nafisa began preparing breakfast for Abba and Suhail, but her heart was uneasy. Then her father suddenly called out. She put down the teacup and went to him. Her father's face was full of surprise. These marks, you've seen 'em before? She asked. Her father took a deep breath and said, such signs, they appear in fields where serpents live.